Antarctica remains one of the most pristine environments on Earth, a habitat nearly unaffected by human activities, and an ideal location for observing life in the wild. Since the 1960s, a researcher from Scripps has led expeditions to remote areas of the continent to study the natural behavior of marine mammals and birds. Along the way, Gerald Koyman has developed new techniques for Antarctic field studies while discovering how these animals live and survive.
There's something about working in the Antarctic. It's captivating. I think maybe it's the pristine environment, maybe it's the wildness of it. I think we all like to be on a frontier, whether it's an intellectual frontier or a physical one. And the Antarctic satisfies those desires in all ways.
In mid-October, at the beginning of the Antarctic summer, Koyman's team sets up camp at McMurdo Sound on the frozen Ross Sea. Called the Penguin Ranch, it has temporary buildings for living and working, and a corral for about 20 emperor penguins. The objective is to study their natural swimming behavior with as little interference as possible. A hole allows the birds to enter the water and roam freely, but no other holes are nearby, so to breathe, they must return. Studying birds that dive into near-freezing water beneath a thick layer of ice requires some special planning. The scientists have installed a 15-foot-long tube through the ice and into the water. By squeezing into the pipe, they descend into a section with glass windows, where crouched in the dark, they film the diving birds and take notes. The birds eagerly enter the hole to feed. Once underwater, the clumsy, flightless emperors become aquanauts, capable of diving 1,500 feet deep and for up to 22 minutes, deeper and longer than any other bird. Typically, they return in about 5 minutes, having eaten up to 2 pounds of fish and plankton, some of which may be shared with a chick. Again this year, the scientists go to a major emperor colony, one of about 30 in Antarctica. These periodic surveys give a baseline by which to assess any variations in emperor populations over time and provide an opportunity to look for environmental changes. Meanwhile, back at the camp, a researcher prepares an electronic instrument package used to monitor penguins while swimming. Glued onto the bird's feathers like a backpack, it logs the duration and depth of each dive the penguin makes while recording its heart rate. There's a radio transmitter that is used to locate the bird and retrieve the instruments. If they are not recovered, the packs will fall off when the bird molts in the summer. They simply lift off the tent that has been protecting them from the weather. After many years' experience, the researchers have learned to perform this outfitting in about 10 minutes. To help minimize the stress of confinement, a hood has been placed over the bird's head. It doesn't even know it's been inside the tent. This bird is just about ready to go. It takes a cautious look around to orient itself and slowly scoots off to rejoin the nearby colony. Koyman has found that adult emperors are perfectly adapted to swimming and diving, with the ability to decrease their heart rate and circulation while diving. Chicks cautiously enter the water after about 6 months. Awkward at first, they'll swim thousands of miles in the next 3 years before returning to the colony. The scientists set up a radio antenna to detect when any of the instrumented adult birds return. 2 weeks later, the one we saw instrumented is detected. A researcher slowly approaches to remove the instruments that will reveal the bird's diving activities while foraging for food. Photographs help the scientists in documenting colony activity. During one survey, they sighted a truly unique bird, an all-white chick. Dubbed Snowflake, he is believed to be a genetic mutant. Being all white may be spectacular, but also a disadvantage, Koyman says, because hiding from predators in the water will be more difficult. Only if Snowflake is sighted again will we know if he survives. After 10 weeks, in mid-December, Koyman and his research team are ready to leave the camp. Both the adult and juvenile emperors will spend the next few months swimming in the open ocean. The team returns to McMurdo Station, base for all U.S. research in Antarctica. Operated by the National Science Foundation, it's a year-round city. With this year's penguin survey completed, the Scripps scientists head for home. But they take with them information critical to long-term understanding of the cycles of life in Antarctica.